What's going on? Today we're going to review this movie called Bird Box. See, I've seen this movie throughout the timeline. Like, I've seen many posts and memes and jokes about this, and I just wanted to see what the hype was about. I'm not a big hype person, following the hype, but I was out of curiosity. I genuinely did want to check out this movie. And without further ado, I'm about to read the description of the movie so you can get a background of this movie. Now, this movie is rated R, and it goes about 2 hours long, and it is a drama and a thriller, and it reads, when a mysterious force decimates the population, only one thing is certain. If you can see it, you die. The survivors must now avoid coming face to face with an entity that takes the form of their worst fears. Searching for hope and a new beginning, a woman and her children embarks on a dangerous journey through the woods and down a river to find the one place that may offer sanctuary. To make it, they'll have to cover their eyes from the evil that chases them and complete the trip blindfolded. Now, keep in mind, there are spoilers a little bit in this review, but one of the reasons why I wanted to review this movie, because I do believe that there are some things that you could genuinely learn from this movie, and that, of course, movies can change your worldview and change your perspectives on things. And I also believe that God can, open your eyes to certain things and speak to you through these films. But without further ado, I'm about to cut to it. Now, it takes place in this setting. Like in the beginning of the movie, it's like this case that's been reported on the news, and it takes place in Russia, that this thing that people are seeing in it is making them kill themselves. And what I've learned in this movie is that there's a literal spirit. I've researched this spirit. His name is Barbas. It is a literal demon that shapeshifts into your biggest fears, something that's so horrifying that it would really urge you to kill yourself. And what was happening throughout the movie, that there were protagonists, of course, they were trying to explain what was going on. It was just random people. They just all met together in the house, and they found out that their friends and families around them was dying because they were seeing something that was urging them to kill themselves. And now, of course, there are people that do not believe in the supernatural, the unexplainable phenomenon that we see today. So, of course, it was showing all that. And then it was just showing how pretty much, man, it was just a lot. It was just a lot. It was like, man, what was it that was urging these people to kill themselves? See, a lot of people that may look at these films may think it's very stupid and dumb. Like, what makes you want to kill yourself? But I personally believe there are things in the unseen realm that are beyond our wicked imagination. And as you continuously move further within the movie, you will just realize that it's really hard for these people to survive, because they have to journey throughout the whole city, throughout the town, throughout the river, throughout the woods, blindfolded. Because what happens is, if you look at this thing, it will urge you to kill yourself. Another highlight that was very interesting in the movie is that these spirits, the unseen, knew how to mimic voices of living and dead people. So now I have a question for those who believe in that they're talking to their ancestors. This movie pretty much exposes how people believe they're talking to their ancestors when they're really talking to these spirits that know how to shapeshift and morph. Ooh, some controversy and some offense up in this piece, but let me continue. And of course, there were some relationships that was being developed in the scene, and some romance. And what was interesting was when the mother had the kids, she had to name them boy and girl, I guess, to locate them. Yeah, and from my personal opinion now, this is me going to my opinion, man. The movie, man, due to all the deaths and stuff, I'm not a big horror movie person, but it was just a little painful to watch, because seeing the beauty of, the family, the man loving the lady. See, I don't even got the names right. It was like, man, it was such a touching moment, but I just knew something was going to happen for that to just decease and that good moment to just die out. It was just so painful to watch this. And the movie did show people demonized by the spirits, getting possessed by the spirits to trick people into looking at these horrifying spirits that was morphing into their biggest fears. It was tricks that was saying stuff like, if you look, it's a pleasant sight to see. It was a pleasant sight to see. And there were actually these people that was demonized by these spirits was tricking other people, and other people was looking into these things and dying and killing themselves. And it was like setups after setups. There was even a point in the movie where the mother was trying to lead the kids to a paradise, in a way, like a land that was better, so that they wouldn't have to be caught up in where everybody was caught up in the city. But what ended up happening was, the closer they was to this paradise place, the more these spirits tried to come for them. Now, the movie never shows what these spirits look like, but it did show men drawing these horrifying pictures in his paper. But all you hear is voices, like really roaring voices. And then these roaring voices start morphing into like people voices. Like they start sounding like how the people voices was sounding. Like, for instance, when the mother was getting close to the paradise voice, the spirit started morphing to the mother's voice, to the kids, to get the kids to undo the blindfold. But what ended up happening was the daughter was smart enough to not undo the blindfold. But because the husband deceased, the black husband, well, not husband, the black boyfriend, the new boyfriend, he deceased. Somehow the spirit was able to mimic his voice to the mother, to the lady that was guiding the kids. And what ended up happening was the closer they was, the more these voices was trying so hard to get them to undo their blindfold. See, what you can learn from this movie is that when you try to go to that place of promise and victory, it'll be harder. The more closer you are to your blessing, your breakthrough, your promised place, the more opposition gonna come against you because it don't want you to make it to that place. And what ended up happening at the ending of the movie is that they went into a land of blind people where people were just blind, and it was like a civilization, a school of the blind, and they just lived heavily ever after. And yeah, but yeah, as a whole, I give this movie just solid 6 out of 10. It was kind of painful to watch, but you know, it was a good movie. It wasn't a great movie. It wouldn't be nothing I watch over again, but that's just my opinion. Now, this is a Netflix sensation, I guess. I don't know how long this will be on Netflix, but you know, try it out if you can. But it is rated R and it's about 2 hours long. But yeah, that's pretty much the review. New videos come out every Monday.